Okay, so we look at Path of Exile at 21:9. Now, this is one game that totally jumped into my radar out of nowhere from a lovely sub, and so I must thank them so much for the recommendation, as this is a really great gem of a game. And being free to play, it was a title that beat out my instant dislike for the genre. I went in knowing nothing about it, and I hadn't even seen a trailer, so I had zero expectations, and I've come out damn pleased. So first up, let's cover the Ultrawide support. The gameplay fully supports 21:9, showing off more of the world on the sides of the screen. There's no cropping, zooming, stretching issues here. The HUD all shifts correctly to the edges of the screen. It's a bloody lovely thing to have, as I frequently like to play with the inventory screen out in case I wanted to switch weapons and items around, and so having that extra screen space is vital for that. And the game automatically shifts itself when you're in this view, so you get your character better positioned further left. Just helps with navigating the world whilst having this menu open. A nice touch. The main menu is fully ultra-wide, the view of the rainy scene extends on the edges, and the language setting flags in the top left move to the top left edge. When hurt, the red screen effect covers the entirety of your vision. It's not stuck at 16:9, and no enemy pop-in or other issues is visible in the extra screen space. The in-game menus are also 21:9 supportive, and the huge skill tree, again, fills the screen entirely. The map is weirdly displayed, but makes use of the ultra-wide screen space, and whilst it's not the easiest thing to use, you need to get a grip of it, because it's vital with your restricted top-down view at all times in order to navigate around each level. On this point, you do have the option to zoom in very close to your character, and the 21:9 view remains correct the entire time. But honestly, I saw no use for being anything but as far away as you can, because it allows you to gauge how to deal with your enemies as best as you can, and run away if you need to. So overall, it is a perfect ultra-wide title. Performance-wise, it runs beautifully. Loading times are extremely fast. There is a slight hang on loading it up the first time each time you start the game, but after that, things are silky smooth. I can maintain a steady 95 FPS on a GTX 980 Ti on ultra settings, even in the midst of the intense, overwhelming, blood-soaked battles. And yeah, things do get very crazy a lot. It's not really a technical thing, but one thing I did find was I kept having the issue where in the heat of battle I'd be rushing around with my mouse to click on an enemy here or try and move my character, but instead of making him attack someone, I would then end up walking near them and then they would just hit me. So that was always something that I couldn't see as being avoidable, because it must just be that I'm useless at being accurate in the game. But I don't know, there isn't really a way you can get around that unless you could snap the mouse to an enemy. But yeah, I just thought it was a point to make. So as I said, this game hooked me very quickly. I was extremely apprehensive upon loading it up at first, but 5 hours later I was sold, and I am so sad that I lack any free time to come back and play this, as I would sink so many more hours into it. I refuse to delete it from my Steam library, as I'm sure someday I will return to finish it, or at least to make another bash at it. I doubt I'll ever finish it, it seems huge. And as I continue here, I want to labour the fact I hate free-to-play games. So if you are in the same club as me on this, then don't worry about this, because after 7 hours of playing, I know for most people that's not going to sound a lot, but in most games, after even just 1 or 2, you'd suddenly be hit by this paywall limitation. You'd either need to wait or grind, or you'd just be really weak in-game. But in this, I've had zero need to spend any money. And the store to buy stuff is really unobtrusive. It certainly doesn't force anything on you. And for this one reason, that it treats you so well, I would be far more supportive of spending money with them. I'd happily have paid an upfront fee for this. So gameplay wise, it's very fast paced action. You are perpetually on your feet. You must balance your weapon use, constantly upgrading your equipment, snapping boosts in and out, trying to create the most powerful combination possible to keep alive. And it creates fantastically alive gameplay. You never feel like you're grinding through the game, with a constant stream of new enemies to learn, adapt to, and beat within a continually evolving set of environments. Many enemies reminded me of those from The Matrix at Edge of Tomorrow, and I really did love the creativity that's clearly gone into some of these enemy types. It's really fun coming across these random things that you, well, in the end just gotta kill. The funny thing was, when I first started the game, I was like, holy shit, there are so many enemies, and I spent about 10 minutes just running trying to avoid them all, and I could not see how I was supposed to progress in the game, as there were just so many. But then I realized that actually you can kill and you can take on a huge number of enemies at any one point, and this game is basically the definition of a clusterfuck. It's the style of gameplay that just, it's ridiculous, and I love it. I did find that attacks that had significant splash damage or area of effect were most useful, as you're just overwhelmed with a huge number of enemies swarming you at any given moment. On top of this, adding great gore mechanics and character animations with immersive sounds to really sell you on this world. And yeah, it gives you a brilliant game. And once again, it's free, so if you don't like it, you just can leave it and you've lost nothing. And I just find that icing on the cake. Now, it may seem like a turn-off for some, and usually it bothers me, but there is a lot of serious inventory management in this, like any kind of RPG. But it didn't really annoy me. It was just a mechanic I had to keep in the back of my mind all the time. But I was constantly trying to decide what should I keep in my inventory and what just wasn't worth it. And I hope I made the right decisions. Overall, on first look at the game, it struck me as just overwhelming. These kinds of games always give me visions of needing hundreds of hours to sink into them and to enjoy them, and actually just get good at them. But I can say from experience now that that just isn't the case here. If you don't want to spend the hours, then you don't need to, and you'll still have a brilliant time. But at the same time, if you want to do that, then there is so much to do. Just look at those who played over 3,000 hours of this, and I think that proves my point. And if that doesn't do it for you, then look at the goddamn skill tree. I have never seen something so huge, and I'm sure many of you have, fine. But to me, it was just massive. The definition of sprawling. It just gives you a sense of how little I have managed to do in this game, as I've only done like a tiny percentage of all the potential unlocks. Now, I did come across one puzzle tucked away in like a dark corner of one level, and I liked it. It was really quite basic, but I liked the idea and it changed up the pace of the game. But I didn't come across another one in my time playing, so I hope there are more during the game, as yeah, they were a nice change up to the gameplay style, and there could certainly be something interesting there, but again, there's something you're just going to have to play more of to understand. So my final thoughts on it. If you're out of money and want a new game, try this. If you're looking for an action-packed, bloody, fighting, slaughter thing of a game, then try this. If you love longevity to your games, then try it. I can keep going. It's been a great title to play, and being free is just a cherry on top. Compared to so many games being released currently that just charge significant upfront fees, this just provides so much for nothing, and does again bring up the question of how some games, I won't name the names of them, but how they fail to provide even a quarter of the content in this. So I hope that gives you some information on how the game runs at 21:9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. For any other games at 21:9, head over to my channel. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, then links to my Patreon page are in the description. See you later.